Alright, so we got here today is a 2017 Jetta, 1.8 liter, and we're doing a walnut blasting on the intake valves. So go ahead and follow along as we get this thing torn into. Get all this out of the way. The pier pops up. We can come out. Fire him there. We're also going to start getting these out of the way, which should be T30s. Get this air box out of the way. These things have a tendency to kind of get in the way of things, so probably just gonna drop him out. I know I gotta get this out. He's on the side here, one on the other side. These used to be slightly different than they are now. Got one side. It would be better if we could just get them all out at once. Oh, just for ease, I'm probably going to pop this whole air box out. That's a single unit. And you don't want to pop these all the way off because they have a tendency to they open up quite a bit when they come all the way off, like so. Out of the way. Ah, yes, T30. There, and the rest of them just pop off. Come out. And then those are always the most annoying part. Okay, now we have better access to all of this. So there. Go there. him out of the way. This car is still very warm as it drove quite a distance to get here for this service. Getting these style clamps are always kind of annoying. Broken free because they have those tabs on them that kind of hold it all together. It's not the most fun to get to. Okay, so I ended up just removing this charge pipe so I could gain access to the throttle body bolts from underneath, because getting them from up top of the coolant line in the way is just, it's not fun. And comes out relatively easy. 7mm T30 comes out, gives you unrestricted access to these 4 throttle body bolts. So we're gonna go ahead and get those out. And I just use a couple long extensions. Typically does the trick. I just got them in there like so. Make sure that we're good to go there. Pull him out. Throttle body comes out. No big deal. Pop him over here. Now we have access to some more connectors. Sometimes they come out easy, sometimes they don't. But we got to get all these unplugged, so because they're just in the way. There's one. Cool. And you can't mess these up because they only go in one way. And there's only one spot for them, so he's out as well. Got him out of the way. One more right here. He's out of the way. And boom. So move him to the side, move him to the side. Now we're gonna get access to a triple square, and I believe this is a 13 or 12. And before I go too far, definitely make sure you pop off your power. And at the very minimum, you are working around an alternator on these transverse motors, so just take care of it. No point in harming the vehicle or yourself when doing this work. Uh-oh. Because these Volkswagens, they have a tendency of blowing their fusible links and whatnot, so. Alrighty, so yeah, triple square, 12 or 13 mil. I like to get the triple squares first and just get them out of the way. It's a lot easier to do that than it is to have that kind of flopping around in place once it is cracked loose. I do believe they're, I want to say they're M10. Generally speaking, they're M10, but it does, correct me if I'm wrong. you know, it wouldn't be the first time, so. Getting to these on the Tiguan's, or maybe the Golf GTIs, they're not nearly as fun or as easy as it is on these ones, these Jettas, which is a welcome change. So yeah, I think it's a 12, it may be a 13. Let's see. Yeah, they're 13, so I can leave it on. Bounce up one. And then boom. Cracks loose. Keys out. Now this will just come on out, no problem. Once you get that harness piece out. Alright, just be careful because there is harness there for the alternator. So, alright, once you get the throttle body off and you get that like manifold race out of the way, I like to come and try to get to this fuel line first. He travels from the pump down to the side of the manifold, and he can be a bit tricky to get to, but it can be done. I have a really short, or not really short, but a relatively short 17 millimeter that I just like to crack him loose with. Then once he's cracked loose and I can get a few turns on him, because you really can't get to it all that well with just your hands. You get a few more turns on it. Then I'll crack the top one because it's easier to get to. Get a light in there. There we are. And you do have some harness in your way, but you can get to it. Just take your time. Okay, got him loose, so alright, good deal there. Light out, work our way to this one. I'm gonna go up on my size. There we go. Cool. So, good there. All that's left for that line, I do believe, is a T30 on the side of it, which should allow us to get them yanked off. Yeah, right there. There we go. Spray fuel, no big deal. And then you're free. It's just kind of comes right out like so. Once that's out of the way, you kind of have free reign to start getting this manifold off. We do have sensor over here, which should be the manifold runners. You can get to it pretty easy with a pick. Just be gentle, because these things have a tendency to break. Like this one looks like it's probably already open. Is it? No. Uh-oh. I'm bleeding off some fuel pressure, I see. Boom. Okay, so he's loose. Pinch. And you can just work them right off. If it'll let you. Okay, cool. So now we'll start getting the intake manifold off. There we go. Alright. Alright, good deal. And let's see how these valves look. They may not even look all that bad, but you want to just preventative maintenance. There's a little bit. Enough. Okay, you can see how it's forming. So, we'll get all that off. We'll do it for all of them. Alright, I finished up the walnut blasting. Clean valves. So, we're in good shape there. New gasket in. Can't forget these. Otherwise, you won't be happy. I won't be happy either because I'll be yanking it all back apart. However, we are just about done. So this stuff will go back together relatively easy. That's the good thing about these cars. They're very modular. And once you've worked on one, you've kind of worked on a lot of different models. These cars, the 2 liters that we get in like the A4s, the 1.8s and the Passats and the Jettas, they're much more pleasant than the SUVs. Those are not that fun to work on just because the way they're sunken into the what's it called? The engine bay. So, all right. Everything is out of the way. Let's make sure that we're going in equally. There we go. Get this in before we forget. Cool. Alright, looks like we're all squared away there. So, cool. We're back in, except a few minor things to put together. Harness, throttle body, bracing. So we'll just go ahead and pop all these manifold bolts in. And then we won't forget all of the fueling. I'm probably gonna get them started now, actually, that fuel rail, just because it can be kind of a pain to get together once it's all put back in. There we are. Don't know why I blinked there for a second. see if maybe I can get this started. Okay. Okay. Started there. Good deal. Now we can push forward. You do not have to torque the crap out of these. I cannot explain or even just begin to tell you how many times that I've gotten or I've received some of these vehicles in that have been maintenance in other areas or other places, and they like strip out the cylinder head putting these manifold bolts in. They over tighten them, like really over tighten them, and you can't really seal up the surface that well unless you go and repair it, and then nobody wants to repair. Nobody wants to inherit the cost or believe us when we say like, hey, your cylinder head's kind of been messed around with because somebody went in there and over torqued a manifold bolt. We have these two, I see, somewhat difficult areas to get these bolts back into. You have to be careful. I'm probably gonna get in there. Gonna get back into this area with the magnet. Oh, this is the problem right here. One thing about these like blue point snap-on things that are annoying. Okay, got that one there. Last one. Okay, they're all there, so good deal. This is our T30. I go back in with all these by hand. I don't run them in with an impact or any sort of electric ratchet. You, quite frankly, you just don't need to. I'm gonna make sure they all thread first. Thread easy. And then once they're all in, we'll go and do like a finishing round of torque. Alrighty, we're getting somewhere. And then I'm gonna get him back in while I'm thinking about it. Boom. Cool, and then we have just those two 10 mils. So cool, we started. Okay. There we are. Okay, and I'm gonna work my way from the inside out. So. Oops. Alrighty, got the most of it put back together at this point. Doing ancillary bits here and there. Harness is all plugged up. At this point, fuel line's nice and tight. Vacuum lines are all together still. Everything's plugged in. This is left loose. This is for our throttle body. So, I'm gonna get it up in the air, and we're gonna throw the throttle body on, and then run the charge pipe back underneath it. Put the rest of it together. Prime the fuel system. All right, got everything hooked back up. Double checked leaks and everything else. Started it once already. Everything seems to be good. So we're just, hold on. Okay. Double checking it all, everything looked good. Went underneath, make sure there's no leaks of any kind. Shouldn't be, because I didn't touch any coolant, still had to check. Fires right up. Everything appears good. I'm gonna wipe it down before it leaves, but all looks okay. Oh, the harness is plugged back up, everything else is good. So, that'll do it. Alright, going for the test drive. Things got right at 77,379 miles. Everything feels pretty good. You know, low mileage vehicle. This is a 2017. So, got a lot of mud getting kicked off the side. But yeah, running smooth at temp. Good to go there. So, everything seems fine.